Hello and welcome to the city that welcomes us all. We are live here with PC Division 3 at the Baku City Circuit in Azerbaijan. I am your host for today, Oh hey, and I am joined alongside me by Instinct. How are you doing today? Instinct. Oh, and it's gone great already. Okay, so of course, last time out in um, in Italy, we had a fantastic race. Wet qualifying with quite a lot of people, and then ultimately Stoddard came through after taking the alternate strategy of starting on the softs and going to the mediums, because with the free tyre choice, everyone started on the mediums, pretty much except him. Um, and that great performance, if I can get the graphic up properly, if I know what I'm doing, there we go. Launched him all the way up to P5 in the standings, which is really impressive, considering he was on 0 points prior to this, of course. See, they're the 1-2 that Renault currently have in the championship. They've been on the podium every single race this season, which is truly an impressive feat. And then Two Shields, who took podiums in the first 2 races, had a bit of a rough time in Italy, but it's bounced back here in Baku. And then Andrew also has some big hamster. Both very consistent in the early stage of the season. It's definitely a positive. Their hopes. Speaking of their hopes, they are also, of course, focusing on the Constructors' Championship, which is just within this one division. It's very important. As you see, Renault running away with it right now. Mercedes are currently 2 with Racing Point. Alpha Tauri not too far behind. Currently, McLaren, Williams, and Haas rounding out the bottom places in Division 3's Constructors' standings. And from the Constructors over to Teams Championship, this is different from Constructors in that it is encompassing all 13 of FRS's divisions across 3 different platforms, 8 divisions in PC, 2 in Xbox, and 3 in PS4. And as you can see, Red Bull are currently leading with 696 points, which is a very nice points haul, ahead of Racing Point on 652, and quite a big gap to Mercedes and Renault, who of course being completely carried by performance in Division 3 right now. So now that we can obviously have a look, this is the final race that we have before our first break of the season. We've had Brazil, Spain, Italy, and now Azerbaijan. After this, we will have a week off and then come back, hopefully fresh-faced, ready for Mexico, Bahrain, Austria, and Belgium. And then, of course, the final stretch of the season will be Japan, Hungary, Canada, and Great Britain. I'm thinking it'll be a fantastic finish to our campaign. But I've had a lot of very strong tracks so far. As for where we are today, of course, we are at the Baku City Circuit, as I mentioned. About 6 kilometers on 20 corners. One of the highest speed street circuits that exist, which is the start-finish straight and then the back straight are both very long. But of course, you've got that very twisty middle sector with the infamous castle section that all of our drivers have to be very careful of. Not put it into the wall, both in qualifying and the race. Definitely an exciting thing to look out for as we get into this session. I see Velociraptor in chat giving us a little bit of a sneak peek as to what you might expect to see in this race, and it looks like the rain gods may be quite kind to PC, as they have been to a number of divisions this. I believe Xbox had a very wet start to their race, but as far as I know, we've had clear skies, dry conditions for the majority of the race, and that to continue. Division 8 had a rain at the end in that, but drivers that, let's be honest, are definitely on the less experienced end of things, that must be an absolute nightmare. I'll have to look back at that and see what happened. Of course, we had Division 1 on Friday night, which is a very exciting finish to the race. Division 2, which I didn't see much of, but was absolute carnage from start to finish. So let's hope to not have that today. And then we had Division 4, last night as well, which is definitely one to go back and watch at twitch.tv/raw1303. Definitely a very nice ending to that race, in my opinion. As it stands right now, we are just getting through the final installation laps that have just to make sure the setup load, make sure the lobby is working as correctly as can be expected from Codemasters. Of course, never really know what you're gonna get, but if everything is working correctly-ish, then should be heading to qualifying in just a few moments time. I'll be back right with you when that happens. And welcome back. We are now into the qualifying session for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And already you can see a number of cars peeling out of the pits. A little bit of chaos through turn 2 that you can see on the corner of the screen there. Looks like everyone got through it cleanly, but yeah, everyone rushing out immediately to try and get a banker lap in. Gotta make sure to find space because, of course, if you have an instant ahead of you, as can happen at this track, if someone crashes in the castle section, then you're gonna end up in a difficult position. Shocked as to how cluttered the track is right now. What do you think about that instinct? I muted again. Why am I muted again? Ah, okay. Hello, I'm back. Discord did the thing that I was hoping it wouldn't do. How are you doing today, Instinct?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to some great racing. We'll see what they can do.
Yeah, absolutely. So far we have miraculously managed to avoid any penalties, as far as I know. Considering how close the cars are running, that's a bit of a surprise. But actually, Hamlin's going to the escape mode.
Hamlin's gone off
Yeah,
already.
I think the front wing intact. That might just be coming out of the pit lane and just misjudging the braking point, perhaps. Looks like the
Yeah,
end plates are intact. So this could still be a banter lap.
his wing looks
As
good. Yeah.
Fuki 90 is the first car to go on a flying lap. So let's go on board for this. We're through turn 1, sharp 90 degree corner, another sharp 90 of turn 2, and then quite a long back straight. You open up the DRS, reduces the drag from the rear wing of your car, and quite a long run down into turn 3. One thing to watch out for at this track is to avoid the curbs. A little tap of the curb there unsettled the car, even just with that little touch. Not great. That one, avoiding the curb well. You got to try and stay as close to it as possible without touching it. And then this tight turn 5-6, you've got to really open up the second apex there to get around. Then turn 7 coming up. You can cut this as much as possible, really. That can be cut a lot more than that. That's a couple of tenths that you can gain. And then to the tail section again, you can very early cut there and just try and hold to the inside here, open up this final corner. You gotta be careful on traction, it can very easily spin you out. The rear end went a little bit loose, but nothing unreasonable. And then flat all the way through basically the end of the second set to turn 15. You can take this curb, or you can avoid it. Taking the curb does bounce your car around a lot, but it is faster. And now coming to the final proper corner of Battery City Circuit. Hold it, don't run too wide on the exit. That curb can unsettle the car, and now you're flat out. Unless it's heavy rain, these corners do not trouble an F1 car. Of course, if you have wind damage as well, it can cause. But great shot now, down to the line. Open up the DRS quite late on this straight. It's so long that you only get it for the final 40% or so. But Fuji90 will come across the line with a valid lap, and it will be a 140.1. And that is our benchmark for the rest of the drivers to aim at. Starts down from across the line and actually beats it by nearly a second. Our winner from last time out has gone fastest, and Gali has now gained 4 tenths, and I'm seeing in chat that my game audio is gone as well. I need to fix that. I'll just have to tell out for a second. I apologise. I'll be right back with you once that's sorted. And yeah, my device has got reset. There we go. Can you hear the game now? A little bit of a shamble at start to productions. Hopefully that's just the production that has the issues and not the game itself. Oh, and Hamlin has actually jumped right on board as he plunked into the castle section.
And I think we have a DNF for Velociraptor already.
Oh, we do. That car is in the pits right now. Did that just get reset after crashing out? And Hamlin does have wind damage. Possibly might try and finish the lap, get a banker in, and then circle back to the pits. And we'll have to see. For the drivers on a lap, we have Ferren, who is about to finish a lap, and that is P13. A good banker to have. You'd rather have a lap time down than not, but they're looking to improve that into the rest of this qualifying session. Hamlin coming down the straight. Looks like he's not looking to go into the pits. Across the line, it's going to be quite slow, I'd imagine. It's actually been up for P9. That must have been a very quick lap from Hamlin to find out that even though overcooking it a little in the second sector, currently in the top 10 on that pace, and I think at this point we're expecting a lot of the cars to be pulling back into the pits. It is possible to do 2 laps on one set of tyres here. In qualifying, tyre wear is lower than normal. It's what I had to do in the final session yesterday. In fact, the final stint of qualifying yesterday. I think we expect a lot of these drivers to healing into the pits and not attempting any time. So for the time being, we'll go on board Lamb Chop, who is on an outlap and will be the next car to be set a competitive lap in this session. 14 times on the board. Provisional pole at 138.7, and car's about 3 seconds the gap right now in the field. Drivers trying to play a little bit safe in the opening stint, get a band clapping, so just clearly sending it from the offset. Velociraptor off.
Yellow flag in sector 3.
Oh, so it is. That
I think Jordan left that Andrew pass. That's what happened there.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know if Andrew is on a lap, or if Jordan just doesn't know whether Andrew is on a lap or they're all pulling into the pits here.
Both into the pits, yeah.
Absolutely. We're just on board with Lamb Chop right now. The other 2 cars who haven't set times but are still in the session, Massimo Romeo, was the winner of the first race in PC Division, in a very swift promotion to Division B in the Ferrari, and then Adiman, who had a strong start to the season in the Racing Point, but he's been coming across pretty bad luck. Had a bit of a nightmare in Italy, couldn't get a decent lap in qualifying in the wet conditions, and then really struggled to keep his car moving as well.
Lamb Chop with purple in sector 1.
Ooh. Of course, the interesting thing about this track is that it's such high speed in all your overtaking zone in sectors 1 and 3 that low downforce is only the way to go. So you might see people go with sort of 2-5 wins. I think some people even 1 on the front wing. But the issue like this sector can be slow as molasses if you don't have that downforce to carry you through the castle section. So Landshot maybe running lower downforce, got a purple through the first sector. Not through the second sector, but of course a purple lap is very difficult to hit. See what he's able to do across the line. And I've completely thrown to that too early because the line's about 9,000 kilometers away. There it is, P13. Oh. That's not what you'd expect from a purple first sector unless that was a visual glitch possibly on the part of Codemasters. Adiman attacking that code a little bit, not too much, and through the castle section. We hope to have a good qualifying performance today. Taps the wall slightly, and is that an invalidation?
Inside, yeah.
That wasn't an invalidation. The wing is intact. I'm surprised that this lap is still a possibility. We actually have a Mercedes letting someone pass. We actually have a crash at the top of the castle section, or possibly just someone letting Mass pass, because Mass is on a lap right now. Anyway, with a 1:15 to 2. Of course, no time to compare against just yet, as we go halfway through the qualifying session now. 15 cars with times, 2 currently on their lap, and 1 who's unfortunately out of the session without any time. Anyman now going across the line. What will it be? It will be a 1:39.5, and that is P5 right now. So definitely a much stronger performance from Adiman than he had last time. But Massimo Romeo, I think that was a very good second sector time, yeah. And it is his pole position.
He won.
1:38.5 for Massimo Romeo, and
almost
that is a
3
statement.
times faster than Gelly.
Absolutely. In Division 4, we had one driver just dip into the 38, didn't we? So,
yeah.
Seeing a lot of cars sort of in that low to mid 39s and even 38s is definitely very impressive. Let's see what Becca has to offer, perhaps. First sector now. Yellow flags all over the place.
Yeah, that's just the Red Bull going slowly.
Yeah, the problem with Baku is that it can be letting people past, or it can be someone who's absolutely binned it into a wall. I have no way of knowing without squinting, trying to guess what's going on. Again, yellow flags and exit the castle section. I believe that's just cars letting other cars past. Becky takes a nice chunk out of that curve. That's definitely a more optimal line through there, coming through the castle section. How tight is you've got to try and as smooth as possible, especially that final corner. Nice triple curve on the inside. Definitely more than valid. Flat out through to turn 15. Really try and hop this curb. Hit the esports line. No, tries to stay well away, trying to bank this clean lap really. Is currently 3/10 up on his current time, which would be good enough for P4 as Gali has actually gone fastest, gone a 10th faster than Massimo Romeo. Still a millisecond, and now holds provisional pole position. 6 minutes left in the session. See what Becca's response can be. It probably won't be enough for pole position, but it could be enough to gain a place or two. As actually, Gods and Natural going to 30 as well. We now have 4 cars in 38s. Recca just misses out. He's in the 39s, and I mean, well, it's a very competitive qualifying session right now. Andrew's about to set a time. Looks like Andrew's about to set a time. And it's enough for P6, it's a 1:39.3. With 6 minutes left, we really do not know what to expect here.
P1 to P7, all within 1 second of each other.
But I mean, perhaps more impressively, P3, where sort of that main window starts, all the way down to P13 within 9/10. Very tight field spread here, as we would expect. Tinov hopped up into P6, Lord Bolt just behind in P7. We have a lot of laps going on. Hamlin is not on one of them. Let's see if we is Cooney?
I think neck track is on a hot lap right now.
Awesome.
Oh, he's just doing a really fast in lap.
That's entirely possible. Cooney, the 10th down through the first sector. might try and send it here to regain that time. Let's see how much he attacks this castle section. Oh, takes it wide through that first apex. Managed to avoid the wall, but that's not optimal. And this might not be the lap that he was hoping for. It's actually a second attempt. He's quite low on ERS right now, so I think this is just trying to push and see if he can get anything out of this, but might be pulling back into the pits at the end of this lap. After he sees there's no improvement. See, just falling past a racing point on an in lap, or possibly an out lap. No. And yeah, Tooney's down a second to back into the pits very shortly, I would presume. And Stodds is doing a 2:30 something. That is definitely it. And yeah, all the cars peeling back into the pits. 4.5 minutes left. Everyone wants to get ready, get composed. Their final assault of the Baku City Circuit.
I think Fiuki will be the first one to set his final lap.
Looks like it, just coming on out lap right now. And yeah, this is going to be first flying lap of these final runs. Probably won't have time for another attempt. Let's go back on board, see what he's able to do. After just come out of the pits wisely. Let's up and let's ask on the flying lap. And then a little bit wayward. Turn 2 on the rear end. That's not optimal. United does have a lot of time to gain here. If they can that curve a little bit, that's kept the car still a bit stable. Yeah, taking the curve. Gonna
cost him some time.
Yeah.
So going wide into the
down
chicane.
through the first sector. So this might not be the lap United was hoping for. And it could be a matter of seeing where the alternate strategy is able to put him as we round through. Yeah, I mean, 19 and Ferrin are the only drivers currently on laps, but I think Ferrin is on an in lap right now, so they've done 2 laps. Meanwhile, everyone else is just on an out lap, so we may as well stay on board with this out. Gonna try and hop the curb, save the time. Oh, sort of hops it, but in a way that can very easily throw you into the wall. Now there's some traffic ahead. Go and make sure they get out of the way for this final attempt. Massimova, get out of the way! Get out!
The thing is that they also want to get high speed for their hot lap.
I mean they've turned into hot lap mode, so
yeah,
it looks like this might be a bit of a toe for
maybe the drag
90.
can help him.
Yes, there's no corner to deal with. That's going to be very crucial actually. Car ahead pulls into the pit. I think that's Ferrin, and then Fuki 90 comes across the line, and it's not even an improvement. I don't know if he got held up there by Massey, who we will now hop on board with because he's just started his lap. I'm not sure whether he did get impeded there. It is a straight, so there's room to move, and that toe would have surely only helped.
Yeah, I think the first part of the lap wasn't quite clean, so he lost a bit of time there.
Yeah, I think just struggling to keep the lap, because the problem as well at that point is that Fuki couldn't really go for a second attempt straight away. There's still time to go for a cool lap and then push once more on those softs. By that point, they will be suffering. Massey's actually 2 tenths down first sector, whether a bit of a distraction from that close call with the Alfa Romeo behind, or whether just not really able to maximise right now. And that's the invalidation.
Yeah.
Tries to regain the time by taking an extra amount of turn 7, and it's a little bit too much that time amount. You want it. It's a fine line. Codemasters draw sometimes. Eddie Man coming from the first sector as
Ferrin retired
in the pit lane right left lanes. Just not able to make an improvement on that time. We'll be starting in P17. See what Eddie Man's able to do. I know quite a fan favourite in chat. Currently sat in P11, the alternate strategy, all position. Going through to turn 7. This will be the last attempt, so you don't make sure not to invalidate. Does take it fairly safe through there. Through the castle section.
I think Massimo just did a cooldown lap.
Indeed.
And is going on another hot lap right now.
Player that with a very good strategy. That's definitely one to watch out for the end of this session. Adaman's able to do. Avoids that curb, avoids the wall, crucially. Coming through the sector split. What will it be? It will be 6 tenths. Oh, that's a purple second sector according to the minimap. So this could be a very impressive lap indeed. 6 tenths would put him into the 38, put him into the top 5. if he's able to hold
Gali
on
is
to this
also
lap,
1/10 faster than his best right now.
that's definitely one to watch out for them. First of all, we had Adiman about to come across the line. Is Cooney ahead also about to set a time? No, that's Adiman. Goes to P4. That's impressive. Now on board with our current pole man, Gali. Up almost 2/10. Will it be any more? It's a 138.1.
Almost dipping into the
Pole position.
37s.
Unbelievable.
These guys are quick.
And Adiman has retired from the session on track. Oh dear, that's not the best move. Probably won't hold up anyone too much, I hope. Definitely not what you want to see. And oh dear, there been some contact there with Rekka, possibly? I'm not too sure what happened there. As to see what Massimo Romeo is able to do. Up by just under a tenth coming through the final sector. It won't be enough for pole because pole is quite an alien time zone, but might extend the gap to Stodds just behind, I believe. Cinnabog actually
Cinnabog
jumps
went third, yeah.
onto the second row of the grid right now. Not ahead of Mass, who will try and extend out a little bit. We have Stodds, who's gone P4. Massey does improve, but not by a significant amount. Lazzo should be coming across the line any second now, as an invalidation, unfortunately.
And I think Stocks is the last one to cross the line to set a time.
Yes, Stodds has just... Yeah.
Can he improve?
It'll be
And he
P3.
takes that P3.
Jumping the system of the Red Bull there. It'll be a Honda-powered second row here. I believe that's everyone, unless Hamlin
I
has
think
anything to say
Hamlin
about it.
might be
Hamlin
on
does have something to say about it. Jumps to P11. Alternate strategy, pole position. So we have Gali currently on pole this race. With Massimo Romeo alongside, then Stodds and Cinnabog on the second row. Adiman, Natrak, Aryan, Becker, Lord Bulk, and Andrew Orthodox rounding out top 10 who will all be starting on the soft compound tyre. And this graphic showing, so I can't see what the bottom 9 is. Here we go. Hamlin takes P11 ahead of Air Jordan, Cooney Seedles, Lamb Chop, Lazzo 123, 90, Ferron, and Velociraptor rounds out our standings.
Will we see different strategies from the bottom 9?
Oh, I'd have to imagine that we would. Of course, the main strategy that people in the top 10 are likely to run will be the soft hard, I think. It's possible to make the soft medium work, but I'm not sure whether that will be... Well, too many drivers will go for that. It is difficult to make the tyres work. If you do have a free choice of tyre compound, you can do those strategies, but also I'd imagine you'd want to start on either the medium or the hards. Medium soft should be more doable than soft medium, so that might be an option. And of course, if you start on the medium, you can always go to the hards and finish the race out there.
Just to be safe, yeah. But we will see, maybe if there's a safety car, those strategies will be all over the place.
Oh, of course, I mean, one safety car comes out, which at Baku can be very often. Really have no idea what to expect. Load into the session. Start the formation lap here. Drivers picking their strategies. In the back 8 of course, choosing which tyre they want to hit the race start on. And as we go back to the game feed, everyone outside the top 10 has opted for an alternate strategy choice here. Lamb Chop, 390 and Velociraptor, starting on the hard compound tyre. Everyone else on the mediums. So, I mean, these front 10 are going to be a bit of weaving on the formation, like trying to warm the tyres. I don't know if I'd recommend that too much, because those softs are already pretty worn from qualifying. Tyre wear's halved in qualifying, but in the formation lap it's still full. So they don't want to put too much energy through the tyres here, because they do want to have them warm for the race start to get a good launch offline, especially if you're one of the front drivers and like Golly trying to hold on to that P1 through turn 1. But you've got to be careful that you don't compromise your race strategy due to it. Further down the order, of course, Air Jordan's currently P2 in the championship. Is going to have the ultimate strategy here. I think with someone being sort of at that top level of Division 3, Air Jordan might be one of the ones to try and go for one stop onto the soft compound tyre. I expect a similar thing possibly from Hamlin and Cooney, who are also top contenders in the championship here. And then the drivers on hards, I think they're just going for a bit of a gamble, seeing how the safety cars line up. But their plan is likely to go onto the softs for the end of the race and see if they can grab a fastest lap and slice through the field in the dying laps. Now this is where you do want to start warming those tyres, getting pit control and line shift back to the grid. Very difficult to actually see what the tyre temps are, and oh, I hope that's just a visual glitch on my end. Masperomeo's tyres are minus 273 degrees right now, and it looks like a lot of cars are, so I think that might just be the game not wanting to show a spectator that valuable information of what tyre temperatures are. So cars are now lining up onto the grid, ready to take the race start here. And we'll see if the drivers can get away cleanly or whether we have a very early safety car to deal with. Here we go. Lights coming on. 4 lights, 5 red lights.
Oh,
Massimiliano's got a jump start!
Massive jump start right
Oh,
there.
and it's lights out, and now away we go. But Massimo Romeo has gone away early and is going to drop to the back of the field very quickly after having to serve that penalty. What has happened behind? Oh dear, that is...
That's a massive collision.
And we have a virtual safety car, very understandably. I apologize for not having a great angle of that. I was not expecting that to go south so quickly.
3 to 4 cars. I think one runner was involved. Yeah, Wrecker's wing is completely gone.
Yeah, that's going to be a difficult drive back to the pits. Yeah. Becker, after having an instant at the end of qualifying, is going to really be feeling some pain. I think that's Velociraptor in the Haas. Yeah. They're currently not helped out by the fact that the leaderboard is all mixed up with his Codemasters.
I think Andrew was also involved somehow. At least he got a penalty.
Yeah, I think Andrew might have been the one that spun, that collected everyone through turn 1. The current gap at the front of the field is 3.8 seconds, but of course, that's because Massimo Romeo ignored the start procedure, and we'll have to be taking that. Drive-through cannot be served under a VSC, but we are now green, so Massimo Romeo will have 3 laps to go. And Golly's actually under pressure right now from Stodds. Stodds got a great jump through that VSC restart, and they're nose to tail for the effective lead of the race, coming through turn 16 right now. Does Stodds get a good run, trying to tack down the start-finish straight? It doesn't look like it's that small. Futinelli got past Ferran. But a bit of a carnage in the open last year. Didn't know what to track. Will Massimo Romeo try and make a gap? No. Decides that it's better to deal with the penalty now. Pulls into the pits, and Garly inherits the lead of the race. Where is Massimo Romeo going to come out here? Currently in P7, according to my timing. That doesn't look anywhere near accurate, since it's been that both Mercedes are ahead. We'll just have to guess what's going on with everyone right now.
Next track, Andrew and Wrecker into the pits. Ferran and Velociraptor as well.
Oh yeah, 5 cars at the end of lap 1. Having to change front wings, I would assume. Plus, of course,
the penalties.
Plus the drive-through penalty I'll have to deal with. Deals is side by side here. I don't know who to track because the telemetry's just not working. Two Seals is Ghosted is in P12 right now, and this has been
So
a
there's
manic start to
blue-
the race.
Blue flags going on. I don't know if that's just Cody's or.
That's definitely Codemasters. The drivers, I don't think can see that. I think it's just on the spectator side, because the spectators think the formation lap is lap 1, I believe, is how that works. The current order, according to the game is on, Anderson and Rebecca are not in the lead. We have Garly and Stott, who are actually P1 and P2 right now. Interval timing of I couldn't tell you what. It looks like the order might have settled now. Hamlin is in P7 by the look of things, with Lampchop separating the two Mercedes here.
It's working now. Air Jordan and Hamlin with the mediums already up quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some cars got a little bit caught up. Some of the drivers nearer the front, like Rebecca. I think Andrew Orthodox qualified well as well, so that's definitely where he gained some positions there. See the timing now coming back to us at the start of lap 3, where DRS will be enabled for the first time. Adiman will be the first car with the joy of using it down this straight, trying to catch Aryan. Gap is down to half a second. I don't think there's going to be a major pass here though, no. Locked back in. Lampchop, however, is going to try and fly past Hamlin. Coming into the braking zone, Hamlin has the outside line. Hits it, almost hits the wall, but it's driven quite nicely and keeps hold of P7 for the time being. And Stodds is almost within a second of Garly here. Garly has to try and drive clean to keep that DRS buffer enabled. It's a nice line through the castle section. You get good traction on the exit. That's the key part where you can really gain a lot of time down this curved back straight. Stodds is actually falling back quite a bit here.
Yeah.
Lost time, like, even through turn 7, I think, so just that second set to possibly a different setup choice. And we have a crash in the castle section. That's Sienna Bob Nelio completely lost the front wing. That has brought out a full safety car. So on lap 3, Burt Mylander will catch the field at the edge of turn 2, and we have our first full safety car of the race.
Is it too early for the soft runners to pit onto hards?
Considering that the safety car will neutralise a couple of laps, the hards should make it. I pit at the end of lap 4 for VSC for hards, and while I wasn't managing them that well,
is going into the pits. Yeah.
Cooney's been given a 5-minute penalty for ignoring yellow flag. I assume that is for passing Lampchop while yellow flags were active for whatever reason. Anyman has stayed out, interestingly enough. So has Air Jordan, but a lot of the cars behind opting to go into the pit lane, get some fresh tyres on. A lot of them going into the hard compound. Lord Volt on the mediums. They'll definitely try and do a 2-stop here. And yeah, I mean, everyone is in the pit lane right now.
Massimo stayed out on the softs as well, after serving his drive-through.
I mean, when you've been put to the back of the field, you've got to try and make a gamble somewhere, don't you?
Maybe he's hoping to overtake the cars on the slower tires in front. Build up some gap.
See here for 390 is that some cars may have picked up incidental wing damage just from pushing the limits a little bit too much on the walls, and so it's a good opportunity while the speed is slowed to make that change. Remember, race for the exit here. Ferran manages to jump the cars coming out of the pits here. Of course, you can't go too fast on the safety car, but the positions are given at that safety car line at the end of the pit exit. So if you can get ahead by then, that will count. So currently, Adiman has inherited the lead of this race, has softs that have done 3 laps and did qualifying, of course, so not necessarily the fastest tyres, but a lot of the cars behind on hards. So you might have to make a bit of a breakaway for at least a lap or 2 before having to make a very tough decision as to what to do with these tyres. Possibly transferring onto the mediums for the 1-stop. Now we have some wise laps, I think. Wait and see. Safety car will not be at the end of this lap. We're coming into the 3rd sector. Adiman is very close to the safety car here. I believe last week we saw the lead driver pick up wind damage off the back of that Mercedes. I mean, Adiman's driving last year's Mercedes. We don't want it to happen again. But it looks like the distance okay. We have Stods who's a... That's okay. I don't
So
know.
far, no penalties yet. The stewards will be happy if this
Knock on
keeps on
wood.
going.
Division 3 had a few... Division 3 had a couple of problems last week. I don't think it was the worst in division at all. But definitely around Baku, you've got to keep your wits about you even under safety car.
Yeah, especially in Sector 2 where the safety car is going really slowly.
It's strange. The safety car goes quite slowly, but then it's up speed, seemingly on the edge of the typical section. You almost have to rush a little bit to keep up with it at that point. I got warned a couple of times to close the gap back up when I was leading the pack under our safety car last night.
Yeah.
So it's something to watch out for, and hopefully Adiman doesn't get thrown off too much by that and keeps it clean. It looks like the entire train has formed behind the safety car. We have the Velociraptor in P18. Right shift doesn't work, like in high numbers. Left shift does. Velociraptor P18. All cars still running, which is surprising considering we had a VSC and a full safety car. But a crash in the castle section spooked the virtual race stewards. And now Bert Mylander is leading the cars around for, I believe, a second lap.
I think it's his last lap as well. At
Oh,
least for this stint. Maybe he has another one later on, but
oh,
should be his
Velociraptor,
last one.
careful! A lot of the cars are continuing up to turn 7 here. Give a little bit of space, please, all the time. Around in turn 30. It is at the start of the third sector when those lights will go out. He will take off with the speed of that Mercedes road car, and Adiman, with the speed of a Mercedes-powered F1 car, has to really slow the pack up to not catch him by the start-finish line. And there we go. Lights go out. Safety car is in this lap. Adiman has to bunch the field up and give room, and then when the moment strikes him, take off and try and hold the lead for most of the laps. Actually running quite
close to the
safety car right now.
Hopefully there's no issues on the restart there.
Going at almost 100, he's on 150 miles an hour right now. He might have tried to go. I hope this car does not slow up right now. That would be a disaster. And it is, the game's slowing him down.
And it is.
Oh dear, this could be carnage. And we see front winds flying already. Oh, Adiman has had a shocking restart there. And
maybe the nerves kicking in.
well, I mean, it's
will not be happy about that.
The stewards will not be happy about that. Yeah, that is rough. And Adiman, who's not been, already got into a bit of trouble in qualifying, it is gonna be having a stern talk to, I think, after this race. Oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, he does hold the lead. I don't know who took damage in that skirmish. I hope not too many cars. I definitely saw at least one end plate flying. Adiman looking trying to build up. Massimo Romeo is a little bit stuck behind some hard compound cars here.
I think Ghali's front wing end plate is gone.
And that might explain the gap behind. Yep, by looking into it is, and Stodds is right behind. Very bit of a penalty for corner cutting. Stodds can't make the move through the puzzle section, which is going to be painful with how slow that damage will make Ghali through a twisty part of the track. But Ghali will hold the position for... oh, possibly! Oh! Goes to the back of him. And there's a yellow flag through turn 10. Stodds getting a little bit impatient trying to get past Ghali here. Didn't have to run through that swing curve in the second sector. That gives a little bit of a bop to the teams ahead. What is this doing though?
He's really holding up the guys behind.
Yeah, the top 5 is getting away completely. Yeah, there, Stodds finally makes the move. Arya might try and follow him through. Massimo Romeo has actually got ahead of Lantip, who Lantip is out of ERS possibly? No, I think she was all deployment in that one lap, so a bit of a sitting duck coming down that start finish straight. Bloodvault's pulling into the pits, picked up a penalty for it. Ghali also in the pits here. And Massimo Romeo and Lantip going side by side. And I don't know if they've both come out of stage. It looks like they have. And that was very close racing fair, and also with a penalty for speeding into the pit lane. And
Cool. And Air Jordan, quite close.
Oh, yeah.
Three-way battle for the lead right now.
I mean, it's about to be a five-way battle, surely, because Adiman's going to be slow on those aging softs. And if Masmoe can
Round the outside in the
oh!
chicane.
Oh
Cooney
my
as well,
word!
Massimo as well.
And Adiman is just really struggling right now. Still has a full front wing, but those tyres must be
dying
completely
right now.
shredded.
Yeah.
He's down to P4 now.
He should come in.
I mean, realistically, he's down to about P14, which is penalties. But for the time being, down to P4, he's going to have to move into the pits, surely at the end of this lap.
Yeah, you can see the gap building up already.
Lamb Chop's not really able to keep up. But Masmoe, who's on eyes with the same age as... Has Cooney hit the wall there? Cooney came back out wide through turn 15. Look, the end plate is
The wing
intact.
looks fine.
Yeah. It can be a very close call around back. Sometimes hit damage, sometimes you'll get away with it. But if you keep pushing those limits, your luck will run out eventually. Air Jordan's actually built a 1 second gap to Cooney's skills here. And I don't think he has DRS. Meanwhile, Master Romeo
it's not enabled yet.
does and is completely gone past. Oh, of course, and there's DRS. I forgot we had a safety car just now. Adiman still in P4, is within 1 second of 2 kills ahead, and Cooney actually is looking down the inside.
Yeah, but it's the slower line through this corner.
It is, and it might have compromised the run here. Adiman has DRS, and those tyres would die enough. He's falling through the field, but Cooney's made a mistake. And actually, Lamb Chops followed Cooney through there, and Adiman's down to P5 now. That is
looking good for Air Jordan, Cooney, and Lamb Chop on the harder tires.
Absolutely, but of course they do have to make a stop because they've come from the start of the race there. The top 5 from inherited positions by virtue of not pitting on the safety car. Currently, Adiman is the one who is looking most in danger here, but for a variety of reasons.
Cooney's gone past Massimo in the castle section.
Oh wow! So was Cooney already ahead of Massimo? If not, that's an incredible move. And we had a crash. Cinnabon again in the task section. It looked like Lazzo might have tried to make a move, was parked right next to, and we have a virtual safety car this time. So Cinnabon, second crash at the tassel section. This time, it does take him out of the race. We're down to 17 runners, and it's a virtual safety car. So
surely Massimo and Adiman have to come in here.
Oh,
maybe the others as well.
I think those two had to pit anyway. But possibly Air Jordan and Cooney. The problem is the field is still quite bunched up. So if they do decide to pit now, they're going to be in a disadvantage. I think Cooney does opt to go into the pits. Air Jordan stays out, might be trying to run medium soft. And yes, Massimo. Cooney's picked up a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is careless.
That's going to hurt him.
And yeah, both the soft runners are into the pits. And we are back green again. DRS has been enabled immediately. And now the battle for P3 is looking quite spicy. Stods leads Nattrack and Aryan. And
neck track on the faster tires.
Absolutely. We had Hanlon get past 90, I think, in turn 2. We have Carl's edge to the pits. It's going to be quite close. Adiman locked in behind Lazzo and Cooney. I think he lost out to Adiman there by serving the... No,
well, he had a penalty for collision, I think, and picked up another one for speeding in the pit.
Okay, so he served one penalty while receiving it. Air Jordan has 5 seconds to Lamb Chop behind her. Both running harder compounded tyres from the start of the race, but of course those mediums must be a lot more effective at this point in the race. And actually, Lamb Chop is coming under heavy pressure behind from Stods, and Nattrack and Stods are nose to tail here. That's from slightly older tyres, but on a fresher, but on a softer compound. Can't make a move into turn 15. That's a very risky place to make a move. And just decides to sit behind. Hope the Stods just get DRS off Lamb Chop here. It's going to be close. The gap is now under a second. Lamb Chop might not want to overtake to get him out of that. Nattrack behind.
Already going past before the DRS activation.
Yeah, Nattrack up into a podium position at this point in the race. We start lap 10 of 26.
Also quite close to lamb chop right now.
Booty 19 Hamlin also doing a bit of a switch. Booty on softs that were... Oh! So 50 for softs. Hamlin got past, but then had a look to try and go back up the inside into turn 1. It didn't work out. He may have compromised his line through the first couple of corners. He does have DRS, but he's half a second back, and that may be time. And 4
Cooney's
cars
back
into the pits. And Cooney's retired from the race.
Cooney's retired.
Had an absolute disaster of a race so far. But yeah, 3 cars already back in the pits, including Addyman, who... wait, was Addyman and also both cars that were on the soft maybe got caught up in the outlap? Yeah, I honestly don't know how to follow what's going on in this race.
Yellow flag sector 1 as well.
I believe that might be Cooney's ghost car pulling out of the pits here, unfortunately. Oh! Stodd's gets a bit turned in by Natchat there. They're trying to fight through the castle section exit. I can imagine that's not the easiest place to make a move. Stodd's a little bit further back, but Natchat and Lambchop are right. But I think Lambchop like lost connection for a second, or had to pause the game. But has fallen right into the clutch of the cars behind.
While all this is going on, Air Jordan is really profiting from that. Already up to 9 seconds.
Oh, absolutely. Cross line to finish his 10th lap on those medium tyres. Those tyres are still working really well. Natchat has gotten past Lambchop here. It's almost 3 wide. Stodd's going to follow Natchat through and might try and make a move into turn 1 here. Goes up the inside. Oh! And it looks like Natchat holds a position for now. Lambchop has pulled into the pits here. Possibly carrying a bit of damage. And Stodd's has gone deep in turn 2. Completely missed the braking point. Has to reverse out, but that might be a couple of positions lost. And oh, Fuki 90 just about gets the advantage of the ghost in there. Stodd's slides back onto the track. And it's all happening here in PC Division 3. We have Wrecker going down the start finish straight on the Velociraptor who pulls into the pits. Possibly the easy to overtake of Wrecker's life there. And Velociraptor also into the pits and retires from the race. What on earth is going on in PC Division 3 right now?
Maybe the frustration kicking in. When you've to replace a few front wings, you just don't want to drive anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't remember Div 4 being this chaotic.
Yeah, maybe that's because you were driving in front of everyone and didn't notice what was happening behind.
That's true, but I didn't see many yellow flags either, whereas you see them all over the place here right now. As it stands, it looks like all the battles have sort of simmered out a little bit. Maybe this will give us a bit of a break because all the cars are outside a second, except for Stodd, who is catching Fuki 90 here after that missed braking point into turn 2. It's on the back of the soft compound runner. Might be able to make a move, but let's take a little bit of a breath. But anyone joining us, this is PC Division 3 at Baku City Circuit. I am joined by Instinct, Montybots, fellow Division 4 racer. Watch all the goings on around around the lead and PC in particular. Right now, I just saw that PC Division 5 has gone live with Harry's Order. I'll go you over there as soon as this race is over. Time being, it's definitely one to watch because anything could happen, and it probably will. And Stodds and Fuki actually flipping the wall a little bit. Let's see what Stodds can do, chasing down Fuki 90 here. Not much. Has to get in behind. Gap is about 2 tenths. Can I yeah. Well, no. A couple of quite tight battles now, but for the time being, no passing mid. Now we're coming to the second sector, so things will again take a little bit of a breath before we get back into the action through sector 3 of this lap. As Addyman on a set of medium tyres has taken the fastest lap of the race so far in some clear air. Small consolation after all the events that happened in the opening 12 laps of this race.
Oh, Hamlin has damage, crashed into castle section.
Oh dear, Massimo was going past, and that's quite significant damage. That's both end plates gone. I think some elements on the front wing as well. 7 laps on those hards. He might be able to make it to the end, but as it stands, he's not able to get them there. The best option may just be to put your losses now. And oh dear, and he's out of the race. coming in with too much speed into turn 15, thinking he could get it slowed down in time. And with that damage, couldn't do it and has crashed into the wall and is completely out. And so Hamlin, currently P6 in the championship, is going to have a very difficult, a very long walk back to the pits from here. It looks like we're not going to have a safety car for whatever reason. The car is parked on the track. With just a yellow flag currently through the end of sector 2. And everyone else carries on racing. Dodds, again, behind Fuki 90. Gap 4 tenths right now. Fuki's tyres are likely going off at any point now. Let's look at what the ERS is like, so that could be the crucial thing. Dodds doesn't have too much to play with. Fuki 90 actually has managed it very well, so that could be helping the Alfa Romeo stay ahead of the AlphaTauri. I mean, they're nose to tail right now. It's impressive the amount of pressure that Dodds is putting on the car ahead, even through the fastest section. It is valuable because, as we saw with Hamlin, if you can force an error, you can get past very easily. As it stands, it looks like both cars make it through without too much trouble. Oh, never mind! I spoke too soon. Fuki has lost it on the exit of the fastest section, is into the wall, and Dodds has made it through. And not only that, Fuki 90 is pretty much out of the rain here. He's had to pit soon anyway, but now has to place that win. Garly's going to get past, possibly, if Fuki is kind. Ooh, I mean, you can't turn very effectively through there, but it was always going to be a tricky one to navigate. And Fuki 90 avoid the wall here.
Barely does.
I mean, gives it a love tap, but not quite as much as Hamlin did, so that'll be okay just walking it back to the pits now. Get some new carbon fibre on the front of that car. Oh dear, that might be my first commentator's curse of the... I've played about a couple today, actually. Like talking about Addy's safety car restart. But that one really was... The pressure from Dodds just too much for Fuki to handle. Sure. The battle now as Fuki just pull into the pit. Andrew Orthodox is chasing down Wrecker for the final point position right now. Both of them on fairly new hard compounded tyre. Andrew is
out of ERS almost.
Oh yeah, that is true. That is the wrong.
Maybe Wrecker will get him back on the back straight.
Yeah, Wrecker has a lot of ERS. I had to flick to Wrecker. Didn't hold shift, and then P11 wasn't going to put him on.
Oh, but Wrecker bumped the wall quite a bit.
They both tapped the wall. Neither has picked up end plate damage, but the exit's been compromised there. And Wrecker is not close enough to make a move back here, so Andrew Orthodox inherits P9, and Wrecker, after picking up position from Fuki 90's pit stop there, who's on to the medium tyre, is in final point position. Building me a battle to watch. I mean, at this point, I feel like it's just go on board with cars going through the legend because... I mean, you never know, do you? That's the thing about Baku. Oh! As I do that Lord Bolt, it's a bit of a drift coming through the exit. Keeps hold of it though. Okay, I need to use this power wisely. Let's go back on board with Wrecker and Andrew Orthodox. Wrecker is falling back a little bit. He's flying through the second sector. Gap is 7/10. This might not be enough.
Should be able to get the ERS, and with the ERS difference, he should be able to make the move.
He's not showing the best pace. Andrew did make the overtake last lap, so the gap is going to be about 6/10. He does have the ERS. That will be critical. Andrew Orthodox, his light is blinking. That says he has 6%, and that's only going to go down this straight.
DRS activated now as well.
ERS and ERS, and P9 is going back to Wrecker here. Fairly pedestrian move into turn 1. Oh, never mind. Andrew Orthodox tries to hand it around the outside, manages it, and now the question becomes: can Wrecker do it the second time round on the back DRS straight and hold P9 through the second sector?
He's not using his ERS here.
Want to make the move here by the looks of things. Ooh, very close there. Now, I mean, as we start to look towards the end of the race here, we've got to have a look at the tyres everyone's onto. Air Jordan, us carry those mediums from the start of the race, we'll obviously have to pit, but we'll definitely look into the soft compound from here. I expect the same from Natrak, and the real question mark becomes Garly, who is on 7 lap old medium. Those could make it to the end, but it's going to be a struggle. And Andrew Altos has hit the wall in the tassel section, and Wrecker has concertinaed in. Wrecker is now parked sideways. Lasso gets past. Andrew Altos, I think, has damage as well, but this is an awful position to be in. Wrecker trying to get out. Manages it. No safety car. By some miracle, Wrecker has damage. Let's jump back to Andrew Orthodox, who does also have damage from that incident. And the pressure that's put on between those two cars has ended in...
Natrak into the pits for his final stint now. Onto the mediums.
Onto the mediums? So did Natrak pit at the end of lap 1, perhaps? Off the soft tyres?
I think so.
Okay. If not, Natrak has a very rude awakening coming, because that would be the true combo. Andrew also hits.
Yeah, he's boxed lap 2 from softs to mediums, also replacing a front wing.
Okay. VTech, I don't believe we have. I think we've had one safe car and 2 VSCs. So there should be at least one in the pool. And I'm very surprised that didn't bring it out. Because he was parked sideways across the castle section for a good 15 seconds there. It was a horrible place to be.
The F1 cars are not quite good at reversing and turning at such slow speeds.
Bit of an Austin Powers moment. And here we have Natrak, who's on fresh mediums, is catching Garly at a rate of knots here. Should have DRS down the start finish straight, and might make a quick jump up into 5. Of course, Garly may or may not be pitting. We'll have to wait and see. If this is for position, Natrak should be able to pit to P5 very easily. There's a purple second sector on the outlap. Of course, it won't be a purple lap because pit lane time, but that is a very good sign for Natrak, and possibly Andrew and Wrecker, who are also on fresh mediums now. The DRS does open his 9/10 back. He'll try and just use this to close up, I imagine. Maybe look for a move into turn 2, or maybe just wait until next lap.
He's quite low on ERS compared to Garly though.
Ah, yes, but I suppose we have to wonder if Garly will try and defend this. We never really know. But yeah, Natrak doesn't have the position right now. Isn't actually that close, to be honest.
When do you think will Air Jordan box? How long can the softs go?
Oh, I'd imagine at the end of this lap. It's less a question of how long the softs can go, and more a question of how long the... I was about to say it's a question of how long the softs can go, not the mediums, but you already said that. I think 9 laps on low fuel should be enough. Of course, it depends how much they've been worn from qualifying, as to how far you can go on them. But you sort of have to try and find a nice gap to pit into, and then make hay while the sun shines on those fresh tyres, because everyone else is going to be on slower, hard compound tyres that have been worn. He'll have fresh softs, he can make moves, but only for a few laps. So you want to try and really get going as soon as possible. As Air Jordan, it looks like it's coming past the pit lane for another lap. I'm keeping an eye on this battle for P10. We have a battle for P6 as well, actually. These cars, that's the section. Animan just off striking distance here. Natrak does have DRS once again. The gap is now 3/10. Now coming out to 2/10, using DRS. He's not done much though. Going to the outside, sets the fastest lap while doing so, and holds the outside line through turn 1. But truthfully, Garly might try and come back here.
I think
if the tyres will allow it.
Already.
Yeah, I think the tyres are just going, and Natrak does have the benefit of those fresh mediums. Now, the question is, where is Air Jordan going to come out?
Overtaking Fuki at the moment.
Oh, that battle is coming. Yeah, this is going to be side by side into turn 1 if I can get a good camera angle of this. There we go, and Lazzo has the inside line and holds the position here.
Eddie Man is also closing up.
Yeah,
in the
that
back.
battling has Eddie managed to battle here. Fuki could try and make a run back through on the second DRS straight. And Eddie Man tried to follow, surely, if that would have happened. Looks like for the time being. Oh! Maybe a dive? No. Has a look. Maybe trying to scare Lats a little bit, but not able to make the move stick. As Air Jordan, around the final set of corners here, and I suspect you've got to be pulling to the pits now. It gives you 8 solid laps on those soft compound tyres to make you climb back to the middle. I think you come up behind Garly, or possibly not behind by much. And then, yeah, you've got 8 laps to charge through. I mean, of course, you have to wonder how they can last, but doing Air Jordan has made those mediums last 18 laps, and actually, Air Jordan has stayed out. I don't believe it. Air Jordan is going for a 19th lap on this starting set of medium tyres. What is he scared of? Because if he can make mediums last 19 laps...
Well, he's still holding the gap, so Arjan is not closing up. He's not losing any time.
He has to make a stop, though. He has to make a stop.
That's true.
And so you want to give yourself as much time as possible to close that gap up again. And 7 laps might... It might work, but it also might not. I don't know.
He's gone past Fuki, but he's going back into turn 1, maybe.
Oh yeah, Fuki has the inside line. Animan tries to hold it. Runs a little bit, almost hits the wall in fact. Manages to hold it, but goes back to P11. He'll try and get the switch back. Ooh, a little bit of air off the curb there. The car has survived, but it was definitely a slow run through turn 2, and 390 keeps hold of P10 for now. The final points position. They're really fighting tooth and nail for this right now. We have 7-8 laps to go. It's a very tight battle. Going back to Air Jordan's tyre watch. Through the final sector once again.
Yeah, and the car's sliding a bit.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to imagine he's looking into the pits here. He's maybe handing to the left of the track here, and there it is. Air Jordan's mammoth stint on those medium compound tyres comes to an end. We have Master Romeo up looking for what will eventually become P2, you'd imagine. Makes the move. Might try and hold it into turn 1. Natrak could try and follow. Can't make it into turn 1. So we look back to Stodds, who is sandwiched between 2 Ferrari-powered cars. Runs through turn 2. And Natrak does a bit of slide on this, but does a good run here, where Stodds does have the DRS. Air Jordan has come out of the pit lane, and it is behind Garly by 2.7 seconds. It's P6 right now. And as this train of cars rolls through turn 3, Air Jordan, who has 7 laps. 7 laps on these soft compound tyres to try and climb back through the field.
9 seconds, yeah. Should be possible.
But of course, you've got traffic to deal with. That's one of the issues with making a late charge this. It's a street circuit. If you can make the moves, it's good. Garly! Oh, that's Farron. I thought that was Garly for a second. That gave me a heart attack. Yeah, Farron has lost it into the wall there. Possibly taking...
And he's retired.
Oh dear, that's not good. That's not what you want to do. That's naughty. You should not be doing that on track. And the stewards will be having a nightmare tonight, I think. Fortunately, I'm not in charge of Division 4 or Division 3. I don't have to worry about it. Meanwhile, Air Jordan has closed the gap to 1.4 seconds. Natrak actually almost making the move on. God's coming turn 16 there. Is pretty much side by side already. And as they fly through, Natrak's getting a great run here, is using all the overtaking, he's going to have the pass. Meanwhile, is Air Jordan able to get DRS? Yes, Air Jordan has held DRS through Garly here. So Stodds and Natrak will battle through into turn 1.
Garly is pitting.
And there we go, Garly cannot do the one stop here. He'll go onto the soft where there's only 6 laps now to charge. Air Jordan in P5 doesn't actually have DRS this time because Stodds is 1.2 ahead. Stodds cannot make the move on that track. And Lamchop as well pulls into the pits, possibly dealing with some damage, having to get a new front wing of tyres to make a run to the end on. As it stands, we actually only have 13 runs left in this race.
And
So if
he's
you...
past Box into the chicane.
Oh, okay, yeah, just about hold it. That was a very tight place to make a move, but with that tyre delta, brand new soft versus 16 lap old hard, it's no surprise that he makes the move. And Air Jordan now only one position back from a podium in this race. It's going to be a great finish watch. Meanwhile, actually, the battle for P8 at this point is 4 cars. Of course, you expect Lantern to take off with those fresh softs behind. We still have Fuki 90, Lazzo 1, 2, 3, and Adiman all battling for positions 9, 10, and 11. Castle section for the 21st time. Actually, I'm going to not curse them. I'm not going to look. I'm going to look at Natrak, who is 4 tenths back from Massimo Romeo. They both running low on ERS here. Natrak has the DRS, has the better tyres, and makes the move for P2 pretty comfortably. And Air Jordan right now is actually 2.1 seconds back. Has lost a little bit of time. What, damage or something? No, front wing is still intact. Just not really capitalising through that lap in particular.
Already closed up the gap to the leader.
Meanwhile,
only
this
3.5 seconds.
Meanwhile, this battle for P9 is still raging here. Lazzo wants to be within 3 tenths. Gets the DRS open. Fuki 90 can see ahead. Doesn't have very much ERS. Lazzo's running pretty low as well, but that's the move. That's not the right car. There we go, Adiman. And yeah, that's a 90. That's the 1, 2, 3. It's gotten past. Fuki 90 might try and make a switch back here, or come back through the second DRS zone. Again, low on ERS, has nothing to fight with. Still using overtake, despite being on 2%.
Anti-dive bomb, maybe?
Lazzo also running low, but manages to defend for the time being. Now Fuki 90, who is on the fresher tyres of the 3 of them. There's a lot of ground to make up. Meanwhile, it is a bit of a 3-way train. 4 cars actually in a train for the lead here. Aryan, Natrak, Massimo Romeo, and Air Jordan. We also have Gali, who's right on the back of Lord Volt. We have to watch out for that in a second. But, crucially, Air Jordan is running low on ERS, so is Massimo Romeo. All the cars really struggling to keep that electrical energy up.
Massimo is completely out of it.
Yeah, I believe that as the car gets lighter with less fuel, you can generate less from the momentum it has. Air Jordan, regardless, gets the fastest lap, getting past Massimo Romeo into a podium position. He might not be close enough to get DRS down the second straight off Aryan. I don't think the Mass can be able to make him. And so we look back to Gali, who is kind of charged down level, has a lot of ERS here, is actually managing it very well. Looks up the inside, going to turn 1, and Lord Volt knows there's not really much to fight there. Might try and come back through turn 2. But those tyres are going to be suffering. He might be trying to get them to the end of this race. And yeah, DRS open, but no ERS being used. Down to 20%, but he's just going to sit in the slipstream for a little bit longer. Fuki 90, meanwhile, coming through turn 2 now. Lazzo was taken off from the pack, but Fuki 90 is now being passed by Adiman. Does Fuki have damage here? His angle is not very helpful. He might have now. He just bumped into the back of Adiman coming into turn 3. Misjudged the break-in, and there is no damage, but certainly not running very well right now.
Air Jordan right on the back of Arjun.
Yeah, of course. Back to our battle for the lead of the race. In the final 4 laps, Air Jordan, less than 3 tenths down Aryan, is using overtake, doesn't have very much to work with, but you have to imagine this to be a simple move. Arjun's cards on 18 laps old. He might not know that, but they are. And as DRS gets open, you can see the cars will running level with each other, but Air Jordan, that reduction in drag, despite having 0% ERS, is just able to plunge ahead and take P2. He now has 3 laps to hunt down the race leader, Natrak, on those medium tyres. Oh, and as Jordan hit the wall there. I think there was a little tap with the wall. I don't see any damage.
No damage.
Fuji's bit of a penalty, so that could neutralise the battle with Adiman and Lazzo.
And
Although,
Gali set the fastest lap.
yeah, absolutely flying on those tyres. But is currently 10 seconds down from anyone ahead, so might be a bit of a lonely finish to this race. Because we can't forget, Fuji 90 does have that 3 seconds of penalties, as does, I believe, Lord Volk. If I go to Lord Volk has 5 seconds. But this can all change depending on what happens in the stewards room post-race. We can probably expect a penalty or two for Adiman. But for everyone else, we have to wait and see if any contacts safeguard get removed or amplified or anything like that, and any other incidents that may have happened in this race. There's been a lot going on. It's difficult to track it all watching live, so we'll have a go over a fine-tooth comb tonight and tomorrow, see what they spot and see what decision made from it. While Air Jordan isn't gaining here on Natra. Natra is running very well on those. But they're fairly fresh mediums, to be fair. The softs here might be starting to suffer, and again, he's not got much in the way of ERS. Natrak doing a little bit better.
Yeah, I think Air Jordan had like a drift after the castle section, so that's a bit of time there.
Okay, but the gap is just under 2 seconds, and there'll be 2 laps left, so he's got to get a move on here. Someone in chat was asking if Massimo has damage. The answer is yes. That front right end plate is missing, and that could cost him a few tenths a lap here. See when he's so close to the walls, even with that damage. Arjen and Stodds are on very old hard compound tyres here. I don't want to give a commentator's curse here, but I do wonder what wear those tyres are picking up. That is about a lap 4 pit, I believe. So if they've been harsh on the tyres, I can tell you those. It could be on track for about 75%. That should be enough to avoid good territory. But it's going to be tricky. 90 meanwhile is chasing down Adiman. Of course, 390 does have the on-track penalty.
Ooh, and Air Jordan's gone off in the castle section.
Oh dear, and he's backwards! Air Jordan is facing backwards. Arjen gets past, Massimo gets past. And he's just got to try and recover the car. Dodds gets past. He's staying ahead of Gali for the time being, but what is that front wind looking like? It's looking surprisingly intact. I didn't see exactly what happened. Can you fill us in? Do you have any information?
He just hit the wall on the right side, going a bit too fast into the castle section, and then spun round.
Oh dear, dear. So Air Jordan carrying damage, P2 in the championship right now. Might be able to hold P5 in this race, but this is a big gift to Natrak, who was under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, he was just closing up.
And
the
now
gap
onto the
back
final lap,
1.2
has 4 seconds behind to a car on ancient hard compound tyres. Natrak has to make sure not to replicate what he saw behind him. And I mean, you got to drive safe here, right? We have a three-way battle now. For that final points position, pending all the penalties that could be applied. We have Adiman, Fuki 90, and Andrew Orthodox.
Wrecker's gone off.
Oh,
in
castle
the
section
as well.
Oh dear. Actually,
looks like the Reynolds don't like the castle.
I have no idea what's going on there. Back to the action. Andrew Orthodox is going to try and get past Fuki 90 here. Has the DRS. Fuki also has the DRS, I believe. See the red lights on the back of each car blinking in sequence. Oh, and I think had a look at Adiman there in turn 1. Nothing's happened. They're all still line astern. Andrew has a peak coming to turn 2. That compromises run here down the second straight. It's possible it has. Fuki 90's gaining. Andrew is falling back. Fuki 90 has a look going into turn 3, but it's not going to happen. Going back to Air Jordan, who we're thinking could be fighting to lead the race. Oh! And Wrecker has DNF'd at turn 15. Similar to Hamlin, I assume, has caught damage in the castle section and then misjudged the braking here. And you can see the one Renault with the damage pass another with significantly more damage. The battle for what's now going to be the final positions on track is going to be very exciting. But first of all, Natrak take a bow, taking the race win here at Baku. Arjen is going to come home in P2 with Massimo Romeo taking the final podium position. Fantastic drive from all three, and Stodds is with P4. Air Jordan is just about going to hold on from Gali in P5. But we have to look at this battle. Three-way battle for the final three positions. One of them awards points. Andrew Orthodox,
has a
Fuki
penalty
90.
though.
Fuki's got a penalty. Lord Ful's a bit of a penalty. An uncertain one, in fact. The question is, do these drivers know about any penalty that could be applied after the race? Fuki is going to get jumped by Andrew here, but he might still want to try and make a move just in case.
All three out of ERS.
0%. 0%. 0%. What a way to end the race. They come across the line in the positions they were, and that is PC Division 3's Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Lazzo is awarded Driver of the Day by the game. I forgot to put a poll up, I apologise. You go, your race winner today, Natrat driving for the Alfa Romeo team. Fantastic drive. After an early incident forced him onto an early pit stop, covered well, driving the mediums very well in this race. And at the end it's the top step of the podium at Baku. Aryan and Massimo Romeo round out the podium. Stodds Air Jordan with the damage at the end, and then Gali in P6 on a 3-stop manages the fastest lap for his efforts. Then Lord Volk, Lamchop, Lazzo 1-2-3 and Addyman rounding out the points positions in the provisional standings. Then we have Andrew Orthodox and Fuki 90, the final two finishers in this race. Of course, Rekka will be classified as he completed 90% race distance, and then Baron, Hamlin, Velociraptor, Tunisials and Sierra Abnelio unfortunately failed to take the race finish.
Quite an eventful race. Maybe the stewards' decisions will change something.
I'd imagine they'd have to. Just take a bit of a breath right now. Baku is always a track that has constant action, but when you're trying to follow a dozen cars at once, it really do see quite how much is going on. Battles all the way up and down the field there for a lot of that race. In the end, of course, that track is the one take the race win. Instant, who would you put as your driver of the day there?
Quite tough. I think Gali was doing quite well. Maybe I'm a bit biased because I'm a Williams driver as well, but even though he had some damage and penalty, I think, as well, still managing P6.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a Mercedes driver, so yeah, I can't pick either driver for driver of the day. They didn't finish the race. Of course, Nat track drove well. I think I've got to shout out the I think it was Aryan who pitted on lap 4, I believe.
Yeah.
And managed to take those hards all the way to the end. So
yeah, he drove a clean race, no incidents from what we could see.
Yeah, exactly, and that is really all you can ask for at Baku. Speaking of clean racing, I'm gonna have to sign this off quite quickly, because of course this is not the final race of the weekend. We have PC Division 5 live right now with Harinzord, with Twitch's very own Daniel Gilligan making his debut for the Renault F1 team in PC Division 5. I highly recommend going and checking that one out and cheering on possibly everyone's favourite commentator. Of course, we are back in 2 weeks' time at PC Division 3. It will be at the Mexico Grand Prix. Same time, same place. I'll see you then.